So what's brought up big boy moves that the Padres have been making as they get ready for the postseason, very quietly. There's no announcements made that this is what the Padres are doing, but if you watch closely, you can see. And if you wanted to make a change in the bullpen, at the back end of the bullpen, you do it now. You wouldn't wait until, okay, it's October. Yeah, I think we better make a change now. If you're going to do any changes, now is the time to do it. With a couple of weeks left, so everyone's comfortable in whatever role they're performing going into October, knowing anything can happen in the playoffs, and you need to be ready at any moment. You can use your closer in the sixth inning in the playoffs if the game and the season is on the line.
It's just so funny to me because I know when we as fans talk about bullpen management and the closer situation, I do feel that we, myself included, can often be a bit knee-jerk at times. There are times when your closer doesn't have it, and he's going to blow saves. Hoffey did it. No offense, Hoffey. Mariano Rivera did it in the biggest game of his life. I mean, it happens. That being said, we often treat closers with such kid gloves, too. Well, you can't throw him here. That's not a save situation.
It's a tie game.
It's a tie. You can't throw your closer here. It's going to mess his head up. But now, with 2 weeks left of the season, we're saying it's throw him in the sixth. It's fine. I mean, listen, there's clearly more that goes into it that we don't know. I've never managed a bullpen at that level. I have no earthly idea on what would happen today if Schilt called in Robert Suarez and said, Bob, we love you. You need a bit of a break. We're going to go with Tanner in the ninth. Or we're going to go with Jason Adam in the ninth, who's given up, I think, one run since he's been a San Diego Padre. I feel pretty comfortable with that guy out there. So, but I don't know that he's got your elite-type closer stuff, but boy, does he get the job done. It's nice having a guy like Estrada that can step in when Suarez is down. It's nice having, Morihone, I guess, who picked up another save, but I don't put him really in that category yet. It's nice to have Jason Adam, who you can count on for outs, and it's really nice to have Tanner Scott, who is an elite closer that, let's be honest with each other, probably not coming back next year, and is also said to you, give me the effing ball anytime you effing want, and I will take it. So while it's hard to say, for me at least, if we're gonna play that game, Benny, I just don't know that it's such an easy switch to be like, hey, it's best for the team. You're throwing the fifth now or the sixth, right? What's that going to do to him?
Do you want to hear what Mike Schilt had to say yesterday after the game?
I'd love to.
He was asked about Robert Suarez.
With Robert, I know the velocity's still there. Clearly, the last month hasn't been what the first few were. What do you see happening there?
Human. I mean, if he basically was subhuman, the first however many parts of the season. He's just balls coming out good. I mean, guys are taking him, blocking balls. I'm not, give him credit to him. Put a good swing and put a bat together, but they're just catching enough balls to take some opposite field shots, and again, it's a hard thing to do, and they've been able to do it. But he's throwing 99, 100, 101. His stuff's really good. So it's part of the game over the course of the season. You're going to give up a few balls to get barreled, and it's going to be shown up when you pitch the ninth inning. So, a couple of times he shows up, he gets magnified, but I will take him tomorrow in a one-run game. I can tell you that.
All right, so
Is there a timer running in the background?
No worries, essentially, from Mike Schilt, at least publicly, about Robert Suarez, and he makes a good point. I mean,
somebody's actually on a Morse code.
Y'all got 30 seconds. Get your questions in. Tick, 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 tick.
What Elliot Ramos did, Mike Schilt said, is not easy to do. In fact, no one has ever done it in 25 years in that ballpark.
Correct.
What Elliot Ramos did in the ninth inning off Robert Suarez. And I don't think Robert Suarez is the worst pitcher who's ever thrown at Oracle Park in 25 years. So there probably was a big element of just luck and hope on that swing, and it just happened to be the perfect timing to get a home run to right field there. At the same time, you can't just look at the one result or just the good results. There have been bad results, and it's not been the same for Robert Suarez the second half of the season. And I can see it both ways. I can see, hey, we're still winning games. It's working. Why would I make any change to the back end of my rotation when we're still winning games? We just swept the San Francisco Giants. But kind of the more logical side of Ben's brain goes, you have an elite left-handed and two right-handed options. wouldn't the best thing to be is just go by matchups? Hey, if they've got a couple lefties coming in, save Tanner Scott for the ninth inning. If it looks like it's righties and you got a stretch there, then maybe it's Robert Suarez. But, managers are hesitant to go closer by committee, especially at this time of year going into the playoffs, even if it might be strategically the best thing to do.
Yeah, getting guys out, instead of taking one guy out of his comfort zone, Robert Suarez, the closer, now you're saying, hey, let's get 4 guys into a different zone. I can understand the reluctance to do that. I really can. And I will say, look, here's the thing about yesterday's game. Robert Suarez was rested. He was rested. He gave up a home run on a pitch outer half. Again, the guy dropped barrel on it. He's a big, strong kid, and he poked it out. It's going to happen. So, again, somebody made the point in the chat. Look, we have a closer. He's got one pitch, essentially. He does mix in a changeup. It's pretty rare. Mixes in that, what is it? It was a slider, but it's very rare. And they don't look like strikes, so they're not super effective. So if you sit fastball and he can catch up to it, yeah, you can barrel him up. But it hasn't happened a ton this season. So I think, for me, I don't know. I mean, gun to my head, I'm probably not messing with it. I'm probably not because, again, I think you can win games with Tanner Scott in the 7th and 8th innings. I think you can win games with Adam, Jason Adam in the 7th and 8th inning. I really do. A lot of the time the games are won there, and I feel pretty good about those guys in those roles. Would I absolutely hate if Robert Suarez gave up a walk-off home run in the playoffs? Sure. But he's not going to be the first closer to do that. And I've seen Tanner Scott be wild as hell late in games as well. I mean, again, is he your best option to close games right now? I think he is. I still think he's my best option to close games. He was rested yesterday. The velo was fine. But again, I made a joke to Eno Saris. What if in the playoffs he starts throwing his changeup more? I mean, he's dastardly and deadly. If he can get it located then, it's completely different. It's a completely different pitcher. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you? So, I don't know, man. If we can all live with our closer getting barreled up from time to time with his one pitch that he's throwing right now, I think you live with it.
The argument that you don't make a change when things are going well, though, doesn't really hold water for Mike Shildt. I'll tell you why. First, we need a contestant for Take on Woods. The phone lines are open right now. If you want to battle Woods in our musical trivia game, call now, 833-288-0973. We'll play here in about 2 minutes. 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for the trip to the Wynn Encore Las Vegas. Show tickets as well. 833-288-0973. If you are afraid to make any changes because, quote unquote, what we're doing right now is working, you wouldn't have moved Jackson Merrill up in the batting order.
Yeah, but I also think, and Than makes a good point in here. Do you want to tell your closer with 2 weeks left in the season, I don't really have any confidence in you? I mean, I really don't. And what if he does it in the 6th, the 7th? You end up losing the game there. You can lose the game in the 7th inning as well. So if you tell Robert Suarez you've lost the job, based on a bad month this year, you've lost the job.
But any change you make, including moving Jackson Merrill up, is telling someone else, we're moving you down. In this case, it was Jake Cronenworth who got moved down in the order.
Took an offer for the weekend.
And probably the
right move.
The right move, considering the production you've been getting from Jackson Merrill.
Which, by the way,
he belongs higher in the order.
Jackson's production in the 5 as opposed to 7 looks pretty much the same.
But the argument that the Padres and Mike Shildt had kind of made, why? Because people have been asking the question, why aren't you moving Jackson Merrill up in the order? He's been pitting all season long. Why are you still have him in the 7th spot? And the same answer had been, hey, it's working right now. We're not going to put too much on his plate. He's a rookie. Why did they do it this weekend? It's abundantly clear. That's where they want him hitting in the playoffs.
That's where they want him.
Because that's the best order for the Padres, and they're not going to go into the playoffs and all of a sudden go, why are we putting out an order that's not the best order we can put out?
I mean, if
moving Jackson Merrill up is smart, so they're doing it now to get ready for the playoffs.
If we're being honest with ourselves and each other, that's not even the best lineup that they could put out. It's not. If we're really being honest with what we have, your best lineup is Arise, Tatis, Merrill, Machado. That's it. And then some semblance of a Bogarts, Cronenworth, Peralta, whatever, Solano. That's really what it is. Do they want to take this 21-year-old rookie who has been phenomenal and say, yeah, you're 3-hole now in the playoffs? They might. So I I trust them to make the right decision. I do. Why? Because they've won 85 games right now. They're 20 games above 500. I have some trust in them and what they're doing. But yeah, if you're being honest, that's not the best lineup that they could run out. Honestly, if you just look at the numbers, you could probably look at. And you want to talk about trends. Jerks and Profar. Let's talk who's trending in the right direction. Playing a little bit better as of late, but there was a 2-week stretch there. It was the only thing he was doing to get on base was walking. So why didn't you make the move then? But you're getting down to crunch time. And Tony Gwynn Jr., I asked him to his face, why not move him up? Because he is Jackson. The reason he's able to be Jackson Merrill that we know and love is because he's hitting in the 7-hole. Well, now he's done it in the 5. If he does it against the Astros, you going to move him up to 3 against the White Sox? Maybe. But they are making the moves that they need to win, which is why I kind of trust that they'll make the right decision.